Hi there. Thanks for checking out my journey video series where I'm documenting the lessons and the challenges associated with building a YouTube channel and video blog. In one of my recent videos, I talked about the idea of email and how it's a disease that infects your mind if you are constantly checking it, because even if you're trying to do other work, the stuff that's floating around in your inbox waiting to be dealt with creeps into your subconscious mind and infects your ability to focus on other things. And today I want to talk about another aspect of email that I've been thinking about lately, and it has to do with the burden of communication, if you will. Email has some incredible positive qualities, and obviously that is a big reason why it has become so pervasive in our lives over the last 20 years. It allows the asynchronous communication, which is basically somebody sends a message and then the other person doesn't need to be there immediately to respond. They can respond in their own time. It's very convenient for each person to use in that respect. The actual sending of the message is instantaneous, a lot faster than snail mail. It allows other people to be kept in the loop. If they're on CC, they can just kind of monitor the conversation without needing to directly be involved in it. It allows you to keep track of and document conversations just for the purpose of remembering what people talked about, and also for legal reasons and things like that. So it's got a lot of great benefits. One of the major downsides, and no, I'm not talking about the fact that there's so much of it, while that is certainly a downside and something that many people struggle with, myself included. The thing that I wanted to talk about today is the fact that email has lowered the threshold of effort that it takes for people to communicate, and while in some ways that's a good thing, it's also a bad thing. 30, 40 years ago, if you wanted to do written communication with someone, then you would have to get out pen and paper and write something down and put it in an envelope and address it and put a stamp on it, stick it in the mail, and wait a few days to get a response. And all of that took not only time, but it was a not insignificant level of effort. And so people wouldn't just write off messages randomly about silly things or things that really aren't all that important, because the level of effort and time that it took to not only send it but to get a response just didn't make it worth the effort. And that threshold, that barrier, has come so low now that people will send messages that are just random stuff that you don't even care about. Email version of like a chain letter or spam and all kinds of different things that people send you, forwarding you jokes and cat videos and all that kind of stuff. And it's primarily because it's just very easy to do. In more of a business context, it becomes a problem where people want to be engaged, they want to be involved in the discussion and the conversation, they want to feel like they're actively participating in whatever, and so they may forward something to you and ask you for your opinion or comments without actually doing any of the work necessary to basically help you do what it is they're asking you to do. So basically it's just like a hot potato, or kind of passing the buck onto somebody else. I don't want to put in the effort and the time it takes to do it, so I'll just hand it off to you. And so it's made it to the point where you have an inbox full of things that are somebody else's problem that they're trying to get you to solve for them. It's a problem for anybody who wants to learn how to be more effective and manage your time more effectively. And so what I've been thinking about lately is that you really need to establish some kind of guidelines, whether it be formally or informally, on the types of emails that you are willing to respond to. And everybody's situation is going to be different, and everybody's needs are going to be different based on the volume of emails that you get and the amount of other things that you have to do in your life. But for most people, it's already to the point where it's at least moderately overwhelming. So point is, establishing some kind of either informal or formal guidelines on the types of things that you are willing and are not willing to respond to, I think can go a long way towards filtering that inbox to the point where it's at least semi-manageable. Taking a few minutes to think about and maybe even write down, what does a quote-unquote good email look like, something that I am willing to respond to, and what are the kinds of things that I'm not willing to respond to. So if somebody just sends you a email asking some really just kind of vague, generic questions, I'm going to be less likely to respond to those than if somebody else asks me some specific questions that I can then provide my opinion or my insight on and specifically address those questions. And so it hasn't got to the point in my business yet where I need this in terms of a formal structure, but I can see in the not too distant future where we get to the point where I would probably either need to put something in the signature line, essentially, of my email, maybe in small print, or put it like, you might even need to put it like on the contact me page of my website, depending on what your specific needs are. But let people know, while I would like to respond to everyone, it's just maybe not realistic based on the volume of email that I get. And just so here's the kind of the framework of things that emails to me need to fit in order to be able to expect a response from me. And so that was an insight that I had recently, and I thought it was worth sharing. So hopefully you can get some value out of it, and I will see you next time.